according to the standard narrative, Muhammad was sitting in a cave, went to Mecca, went to Medina, then came back to Mecca. Now, he conquered or took over Mecca without any resistance, so he didn't have to fight anybody. But the thing is, there were a lot of people, dozens of people, that he had killed for different reasons. And this is now where the claims of Hamza Redbeard fall apart completely, utterly. Because there's a lot of resistance that we found. There's a lot of people, there are poets here, who were killed because they were mocking Muhammad. Now what this list does, it tells you who was killed, when they were killed, and now why they were killed, and then what the source is. Now I need to point out right now, right from the beginning, of course Muslim apologists have taken this list and they've said, no, this is all bullshit because this person was not killed because of that, and the source is unclear, and what these guys are doing, they are just simpletons. These are not scholars. These are just people who are using Google, and silly excuses. And then the people who actually put this together said, okay, hang on, what are you talking about? I can show you the page. I can show you exactly where it says this. We are providing the sources with all the references that are required to verify that these are Islamic texts. This is not something that we fabricated. This is not something that we made up. We can find this in the texts themselves. So you go and take it up with those people instead of telling us that we are talking nonsense. Because we're talking not, and they are providing the sources for each and every one of them. So this Asma bin Marwan, for example, was killed for opposing Muhammad with poetry and for provoking others to attack him. Right? But this is using poetry. So this is not somebody who just went blah, blah, blah. No, these are people who took the Quran, took the content and said, no, this is nonsense. And they were mocking Muhammad and opposed the messages that he was providing. And this is very, very clear. She was, I don't know if it's he or she.
It's a she. It's a woman.
I thought it's a she, yeah.
Yeah.
She was killed. I don't know if this is the one, because there is one where you have all the really brutal details. How somebody went in there and then rammed a piece of wood up a vagina that it came out the neck, and they all the gory details. I mean, this is quite terrible. Anyway, so I don't know if this was her, but there was one woman that was killed like that. I remember that.
I think there was.
We have.
Yeah, I think this was Asma bint Marwan was stabbed, but in the abdomen, and I think the blood fell on her child, who was just sleeping or lying between her, and then he was at the legs or something like that. So the blood fell on the child.
Brilliant, very nice, eh? Anyway, so this is something that is documented in Islamic texts, and it shows, yes, there was a lot of opposition to Muhammad, and he handled it the only way that he could, and that was with violence. And there are stories where, and this is so cruel, this is so bad. Why doesn't somebody rid me of this person? And then a guy says, well, you should have nodded or given us a sign for us to kill that person. And then he says, a prophet doesn't nod. You should know when he wants somebody killed.
This is Abdullah ibn Abi Sar, right? This is Abdullah ibn Abi Sar, the scribe.
Oh, you remember this story?
Yes, I remember the story. This is Abdullah ibn Abi Sar. And the only reason he was somehow saved was because Usman was there. And Usman's like, can you not please kill him? He's a family member. He's my, they grew up, they were both foster brothers. They were foster brothers.
Okay.
So, but then Muhammad didn't say anything. And then he chastises those around him, saying that, why didn't you kill him? I don't need to nod for you to kill him. So the people were in doubt because, wait, Usman is there and then there's Muhammad. What are we supposed to do exactly?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you very much for that. Because I don't remember the details. I just remember some things that I read somewhere, which is just stored away in my brain, but I don't remember the details the way you do. Brilliant. Super. Thank you very much. And it's so nice to have somebody who can actually give you more details than I can provide. That, I'm not making shit up or something. So this is quite good. So I'm very grateful that you're here to provide the details. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make, and I think this is a valid point, all right? The claims that there was no resistance, that Muhammad, everybody was so knocked over by the eloquence of the Quran, and everybody was so wonderfully enlightened and so in awe of everything. That's nonsense. So the claims that Hamza Redbeard are making that's ridiculous. So this was one. So let's take another one. Abu Afaq also. The thing was, kill the Jewish poet or another poet. Okay, this is not a militant or anybody. It's a poet for opposing Muhammad through poetry and, according to Ibn Sa'd, instigating the people against Muhammad. So there was a lot of resistance here. It's not the way that people are saying there was no resistance and everybody was with him and everybody immediately agreed. And he was assassinated. And here you have the sources where it says it, and not only one, but it's several sources. Then you have Al-Nadr ibn Hadith.
Yeah.
And this is a sad one, and we talked about this last time. Okay, I don't know. Do we have to go through every story? Because there's a lot. It's going to be too much.
Yeah. Basically, just summarize it. He was captured in the Battle of Badr. Then he was taken prisoner, but he mocked the tales of the ancient. And the Quran reference is right there, 83:13. So he's the one, the Quran verse was about, and Ali beheaded him, Al-Nadr, after the Battle of Badr.
Because, again, he mocked and harassed Muhammad and wrote poems and stories criticizing him. Okay, so... I can't stress this enough, that people were opposing Muhammad, and these are authentic, like this Sahih Bukhari here. So you have sources, Islamic sources. So these are not Islamophobes or Orientalists or all these usual excuses that you hear. No, these are Arabs. These are people around at the time who apparently, allegedly, were critics. Now, we can't verify this. We have to go with what Hisham is telling us, because even Isaac, we don't have these stories. We can only go by what Hisham is telling us, and what Tabari says like a couple of hundred years later. But they were quite adamant that a couple of centuries before, during the time of Muhammad, there was considerable resistance. So this was Uqba bin Mu'ad, was captured at the Battle of Badr, was killed instead of being ransomed because he threw dead animal entrails on Muhammad and wrapped his garment around Muhammad's neck while he was praying. So he was not a fan of Muhammad. So Muhammad
that
killed.
Definitely means he deserves to be killed, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So he was beheaded because you're not allowed to do that. So if you if you prank the guy and you do silly things, well, that's it. Then Ka'b ibn Ashraf, according to Ibn Ishaq, Muhammad ordered his followers to kill Ka'b because he had gone to Mecca after Badr and invade, I don't know what that means, against Muhammad, and composed verses, again poetry, in which he bewailed the victims of the Quraysh who had been killed at Badr. Shortly afterwards, he returned to Medina and composed amatory verses of an insulting nature about the Muslim women. And Ibn Kathir adds that he incited the people to fight Muhammad. So, again, resistance, mockery, getting killed for that. So you mock Muhammad, at your own peril, you're going to get beheaded, you're going to get killed. Abu Rafi ibn Hukayk killed for mocking Muhammad with his poetry and for helping the troops of the Confederates by providing them with money and supplies. So if you go and you do something against Muhammad, and look at the sources here, okay? You have Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari, and Ibn Hisham, Ibn Ishaq, Sirat, and so on, and in Tabari. So this is not just some guy who was just saying some things. No, these are a lot of people who agree that there was resistance to Muhammad. There was resistance in the form of making fun of him in the form of poetry. and then Khalid ibn Sufyan. Still a very famous name nowadays, taken by a lot of Muslims, because there were reports he considered an attack on Medina, that he was inciting the people in Mecca to fight. Now, there were reports he considered, and he was assassinated. That's all it took. Just the mere threat of somebody thinking about something was enough to get them killed.
Yeah, no, I got a quick question though. Writing a poem about someone is that similar to or comparable to making a mixtape or a diss track?
Yep, that's it's comparable to that, making a diss track.
Alright. Then Eminem should have slayed Clarence.
Oh man, Eminem should have slayed. Muhammad took that too literally, slaying.
What, as a rap battle or what?
He doesn't understand the value of a good diss track.
Oh man.
Okay, Al-Jumahi was killed. He was a prisoner of war, captured during the invasion of Hamra al-Assad, and Muhammad released him, but he took up arms against him again, and he beheaded him. Boof. Gone. Then he had Muawiyah, and because he was accused by Muhammad of being a spy, he went to Uthman for shelter. Uthman arranged for his return, but he stayed too long in Medina, and after Muhammad heard he was still in Medina, he ordered his death. Boof. Executed. Bye. Cheers. Then you have Al-Ansari, killed because, according to some Islamic traditions, Allah revealed 386-8, which indicated that those who reject Islam after accepting it should be punished. Isn't that known as apostasy nowadays?
Yep, that's apostasy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he was a Muslim who fought in the Battle of Uhud and killed some Muslims, and then joined the Quraysh and left Islam. After being threatened with those verses, Allah sent his brother to Muhammad, asked for forgiveness. So he allowed him to return, but then he was beheaded. But we have two different versions here. Because in the one it says he was beheaded, and in the other version it says, no, he became a good Muslim again. So which version do you like? Which version do you want?
Yeah.
So even here, there are discrepancies between the different sources, and you don't know which one to believe. So is it personal preference, which is more comforting, or how do you decide whether he was killed or not?
Oh, the next one is interesting. Abu Sufyan. This is the interesting one. It's 627. The year is 627, and this was not successful. This is Abu Sufyan, the Quraysh leader. And
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, so this is Muhammad's so-called arch nemesis. And this is, instead, we have 3 polytheists killed by Muslims. So this was an unsuccessful assassination attempt.
Wow, thanks for that. I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's Tabari, volume 7, The Foundation of the Muslim Community. So this is in Tabari's history.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have a whole tribe. So he attacked the Qurayza because, according to Muslim tradition, he had been ordered to do so by the angel Gabriel. So he was acting on command of God. So one of Muhammad's companions decided that the men should be killed, the property divided, women and children taken as captives. Usual story. Muhammad approved of the ruling, calling it similar to God's judgment, after which all male members of the tribe who had reached puberty were beheaded. This is a famous story where everybody had to lower their pants, and then if somebody had pubic hair, they were killed. And then we also have different versions here, 600 to 900 beheaded, or all males and 1 woman beheaded. So different accounts here. But it's brutal, nevertheless. Okay, so they had been ordered to do so. Just because somebody told them, we need to kill them, so Muhammad says, yeah, go ahead. And they do that. And
Muhammad goes and picks the man who actually is the enemy of this tribe, no less, to be the judge. So he handpicks Saad, who's the enemy, and then he orders this punishment. And then he's like, yes, this is the punishment God gave. And this is written in the Sirah as well as these sources, Tabari's history as well.
Wow. Sure. Oof, different times, eh? Okay, then you have Abdullah ibn Ubay, and this also rings a bell, but I don't know why, to whom verse 63:8 refers, and who was accused by Muhammad of slandering his family or spreading false rumors about. Okay. This is the one who said that Aisha was unfaithful to him, I think.
Yeah, he's the one who so Muhammad calls off the assassination and says to Umar, if I had him killed, in large number of dignitaries would have furiously hastened to fight for him. Later he reveals a Quran verse forbidding Muslims from attending the funeral of disbelievers and hypocrites. So this is very convenient. So, and it's not only that, apparently even Ali did have, doubts about Aisha when she slept with Talha. So it wasn't even only him, but apparently because Ali was family, so this was just a scapegoat, this person.
Wow. Okay. All right, then we have Al-Usa ibn Rizam, because Muhammad heard that his group was preparing an attack. Note, they didn't do it. They didn't do anything. It just he heard something was something was about to happen. Let's try it that way around. And so they killed them. Then you have people killed 8 men who came to him, converted to Islam, but then apostatized, killed one Muslim, drove off with Muhammad's camels. This is where the story with they were unwell and they were given camel urine to drink. So.
What they fed they fed like coals or something, or eyes were put on, like something fiery material was put on their eyes or something?
No, that was different. This is the one where they were cutting off hands and feet, but they didn't cauterize them, and they slowly let them bleed to death. In the sun.
This one, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, stops. This sounds so peaceful. This truly is a religion of peace.
Yeah.
Like, look at how peaceful these verses are, man.
Then here Muhammad said they are enticing the people of Qais to fight him, so kill them. So they were killed. Then we have Abdullah bin Khattab. This doesn't tell me anything.
Abdullah bin Khattab. I remember this guy. So he was he killed Abdullah bin Khattab for killing a slave, and so basically he tried to run away because he insulted Muhammad. And another story is apparently he chained himself to the Kaaba as well. So Muhammad's like, no, still kill him, because just because he's chaining himself or he's against the Kaaba doesn't mean we should stop. You should kill him. So this is Abdullah bin Khattab.
Even though there's a very, very clear prohibition of killing anybody in or around the Kaaba.
Yeah, exactly. So in spite of being in the sacred area, they were told, just kill him. And he was hiding under the curtains of the Kaaba. Look, hiding under the curtains of the Kaaba.
So actually he shouldn't have, but he did anyway.
Yeah.
Then you have Fatana, because she used to sing satirical songs about Muhammad. Killed. Good night. Then you have another slave girl. She used to sing satirical songs. Converts to Islam and is pardoned. You see, this is the option that you have.
Yeah,
if you say, so sorry, I will be a Muslim, I will be a good Muslim, then you're allowed to live. But if you don't, if you continue, bye. So these are the options that you have. Remember, you always have 3 options. You either convert, you pay the jizya, or you leave the country.
Or you leave planet Earth.
Or planet Earth.
But yeah, no, this guy doesn't seem to understand what a diss track is.
Okay, then we have Muhammad's daughters were fleeing Medina. He stabbed their camels, causing injuries. He was a poet who disgraced and abused Islam. Really, this Islam is so frail, so fragile, so weak.
So peaceful.
And you just need some words, and you just say, Islam is weak, and poof, you need to get killed, because the Islam religion of peace needs a peaceful environment, so everybody who is not is killed, but then you have peace. But seriously, this is the thing. This is why a lot of people are saying Islam means peace. Because remember, Islam is prophesied to take over the world. Islam will prevail, and that's what it says. It will defeat all other religions, and it will prevail. So Islam will take over, and then once it does, then we're going to have peace. I mean, it's silly because you have so many different sects within Islam who are killing and fighting each other. This will never happen. In the end, there's going to be one Muslim left over, and that's it. So, yeah. Anyway, then you have Mikyas ibn Subaba. I don't know who this is. Mikyas killed a Muslim who accidentally killed his brother and escaped to Mecca, became an apostate by embracing polytheism. This I haven't heard of.
Yeah, this one's interesting. Yeah. And then
Then
Sarah.
we have Sarah. Ibn Ishaq says Muhammad ordered Sarah be killed because she had insulted him in Mecca. And Ibn Ishaq reports that she embraced Islam but was killed later during the time of Umar. And Tabari reports she was just killed without embracing Islam. So you have conflicts there. Okay, Harith bin Hisham, this is a famous one. Oh, no, then this is somebody else. I thought this is Harith ibn Hisham. I thought I recognized the name, but reason unknown. Both sought
Yeah,
refuge.
this is.
No, then I'm mistaking the name. This is not somebody that I know. I'm mistaking the name for somebody else, I'm sure. Because this is like, okay. All right, 24, we have Zubair Umayyah during conquest of Israel killed Zubair, reason unknown, see above result. Then we have Al-Ansi, Muhammad sent a messenger to Yemen instructing not to be confused with Habar al-Aswad, should be killed because he was a false prophet and a liar. Now we're going to be looking at some false prophets later on because, and it's not 4, it's 5, thank you very much, Mustafa, that were around at the time spreading words that they were the true prophet and not Muhammad. So there was a lot of competition, and they were all killed. So this seems to be another one of them. A false prophet. So Tabari reports that Al-Aswad al-Ansi was killed the day before Muhammad's own death after he sent a messenger to persuade the local Abnaf guild to kill him. Al-Balaturi adds further detail that Muhammad chose this plan because the Al-Abna already had grievances against Al-Aswad. So, yeah, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Then you have Ikrimah ibn Abjal, because he was hostile to Muhammad like his father. Okay, so Ibn Ishaq says his wife became a Muslim, asked for immunity for him, and the Apostle gave it. So he was not killed, and Tabari says he was eliminated. Eliminated, okay. Then you have Washi ibn Harb killing Muhammad's uncle during the Battle of Uhud. Oh, okay.
Oh, good, yeah.
But he was pardoned after the offer of forgiveness and offers to convert to Islam. You know, this shows the hypocrisy. You can do whatever you want. Even, and this is the funny thing, even Hitler can go, like 2 months before he kills himself, he says, okay, I'm now a Muslim. And everybody will say, well, all your sins are forgiven, you are like new, everything is great, and now you are a Muslim, you're going up to heaven. So I find that highly hypocritical. That somebody who is honest and doesn't really harm anybody, he goes to hell just because he doesn't believe. And somebody who pretends or goes and says, yeah, I'm a Muslim now, I've killed millions, but it's okay. You're good to go. Wow. Okay, then 28, Kabin bin Abi Sulama. Assassinate them for writing satirical poems about Muhammad. One of his poems, recorded by Ibn Ishaq, includes the line, I was told that the Messenger of Allah threatened me with death, but with the Messenger of Allah I have hope of finding pardon. One of the Ansar asked permission to behead Ka'b. The Apostle told him to let him alone because he had come repentant, breaking from his past, so he was pardoned. Oh, isn't that cute? So sweet.
Yeah, I think this was the conveniently timed verse, a Quranic verse came or something like that. I don't know, maybe it's someone else, but yeah, let's carry on.
So you have Al-Talatil for mocking Muhammad, again, through poetry. I don't know, Redbeard Hamza, I don't know how you're going to go and kill all this. there's a lot of resistance, and there's a lot of people who are mocking Muhammad through poetry. So your claim that all the poets flocked to Islam and flocked to the Quran, telling everybody it was so great, I think that claim you can bury. And he is killed by Ali. So then you have Abdullah ibn Zibara, Abdullah for writing insulting poems about Muhammad. Again, I think this claim is dead. No, that's So he converted to Islam, so pardoned him, and that he had fled because the apostle had killed some of the men in Mecca who had satirized and insulted him. Then you have Hubayra, and cousin for mocking Muhammad through poetry. Again, we see this again and again and again. This narcissistic streak. As soon as you criticize Muhammad, you're gone. This is like this Trump guy. Also, if you say anything against him, he goes like flat out against you because he can't handle criticism. And Tabari says he ran away when Mecca was conquered and died in Najran as an infidel. And Ibn Ishaq reports that he fled because the apostle had killed some of the men in Mecca who had satirized and insulted him. So. Then you have Hind Utbah.
Hinda, this is Hinda. Oh my God, this is Abu Sufyan's wife. So she was the one who cut out Muhammad's uncle's heart, Hamza, after the Battle of Uhud. That's even in the movie too. Like, she just has her slave cut out his heart, and then because Hamza and Ali were the ones who killed her father in the Battle of Badr. So then she, like I said, she swore allegiance to become a Muslim, and she was pardoned by Muhammad. So the person who ate your uncle's heart is pardoned by you because you swore allegiance and became a Muslim.
Yeah. Oni swaki malipons.
Yep.
Then you have Amr bin Jiyash convert to Islam. And this is another one of those stories, according to Ibn Kathir and Ibn Ishaq. Muhammad said to Yamid Musa, have you seen the way your cousin has treated me and what he proposed to do? Muhammad accused him of trying to assassinate him. He was assassinated after a Muslim offers a reward for his killing. Wow. Nothing much has changed. We still have these kind of things today. And I think every year the fatwa against who was the author of the Satanic Verses?
Salman Rushdie, yes.
And every year it has to be renewed, and every year they do renew it, and they even increase the reward for killing him. So
it's still going, the fatwa?
Yeah. They said, come on, guys, shouldn't you give it a rest now and let it go? No. He insulted us, and this is terrible, and this is quite weird. So, king or prince of Dumatul Jandal attack the chief of Duma for jizya booty. 1 killed, 2 taken captive. Chief of Duma was released unharmed. Okay, I don't know the story of this. I don't know why, what happened, where. I have no idea.
Yeah, this one's interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of this one either. But yeah, let's carry on. I'll look into this.
Umayyah bin Khalaf, Abi Safwan. Killed Umayyah, reason is unknown. Bilal wanted him killed for torturing him.
Oh, Umayyah, Bilal's former master. This is Bilal's former master who was Bilal, and then he tortured him and...
Yeah, but he was the governor then.
Yeah, I think the governor of Mecca or something like that.
I can't remember where exactly he was.
No, Umayyah bin Khalaf. Yeah, he was definitely he was Bilal's former owner, and then Abu Bakr bought him because, torture was getting out of hand. And, Bilal just kills him in revenge. But mind you, the non-colored parts, the non-red, aren't specifically ordered by Muhammad specifically. But so, you have Bilal wanted to kill him for torturing him. So, but Muhammad's reason is okay, so Muhammad did order killing him, but the reason was unknown. But the end result was Bilal killed him because he, out of revenge. Bilal's story is a little understandable at this point. At least Bilal is understandable. Muhammad has no excuses. Bilal, I get it. I get this man.
Oh, this is revenge, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have a blind man killed by a Muslim on his own initiative because the woman insulted Muhammad. This is this blasphemy thing, okay? So Muhammad is like a god. I mean, it's the same thing as Jesus. Come on, people. This is why Muslims used to be called Mohammedans, because they worship Muhammad the same way as a god. And this is why blasphemy applies to Muhammad, not just to the god, but also to Muhammad. So when Muhammad learned what had happened, he said, no retaliation is payable for her blood. So, killed. Then even Sunaina, Muhammad reportedly ordered his followers to kill any Jew that falls into your power. Muayyisa heard this and went out to kill even, oh my God, killed by Muslim. Oh wow. Abdullah ibn Sa'd ibn Sar.
My favorite. This one's my favorite.
Okay, then you read this.
Oh, okay. So this is the man who basically killed Abdullah ibn Sa'd because he became an apostate. Now, the reason he became an apostate was because when he was writing the verse of the Quran, right? And he's like, when Muhammad says the particular verse, he's awed himself. Abdullah ibn Abi Sar is awed. He's like, oh wow, this is a wonderful verse. And then Muhammad's like, yes, write it down. That was exactly how it was revealed to me. And Abdullah ibn Abi Sar is like,
yeah, but Mustafa, you have to say that this is the one where he says he is the best of the creators.
Yes, he's like, Subhanallah, this is one of the best of the creators. And then Muhammad's like, yes, write that down. That was how it was revealed to me. So Abi Sar is like, if I can make... So he came to the conclusion that this guy was just making the shit up. Because he was confused. And then he just left. And then he started telling people of Mecca, this guy's a fraud. And then he was the one that I was saying earlier that he wasn't exactly pardoned, but because Usman was there, and this is in Ibn Hisham's Sirah, that he was Usman's foster brother, or milk brother, they call it. So Muhammad said that why didn't you, to his followers, why didn't you do anything? They said, you never gave us an order to kill him. And he was one of the people who was supposed to be killed. And then Usman brought him in front of Muhammad, so his life was spared. And then he became Muslim, this man. And not only that, he became, his allegiance, he contributed to the expansion of the Islamic Empire himself. So basically, he gained from converting to Islam because he just sided with the winner.
Yeah, but I think it was shrewd. Because he realized, look, I'm able to alter the Quran. I'm able to have my words in there. It is being accepted. And first he was really pissed off with this because he was, an honest person. And from his ethical point of view, he couldn't handle this. But then he became an opportunist. And then he says, but hang on, if I can already do this, why should I go and get killed if I can take advantage of the situation and take my knowledge and everything and go and make my own fortune out of this? And I think this is what he did at the end of the day.
Yeah. So this is one of the first apostates, but he converted back mainly because he can take advantage. And this is what, if you have someone who states that, oh, I apostatized, but then I converted or reverted to Islam, you can ask the question, what was the benefit you were exactly gaining from reverting to Islam? So you can even ask them that question.
But now the consequence of this is, and you now need to take this one step further. If you now go and look at the claims that people make about Muhammad, well, these are the guys that he surrounded himself with. So what you can see is that there is no integrity here. There's no honesty. There's no loyalty or anything. No, these are hypocrites. These are opportunists. These are people who are taking advantage of the situation. They are part of the in crowd, and this is what they are using to their advantage. It is not about swearing allegiance to Muhammad because he is such a great prophet and the message of God is so great. No, this was about capturing people, getting a lot of women, getting a lot of money, getting influence, power, and standards. And that is it. Standing, sorry.
Yeah.
And that is all that it was.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of Muslims will say, oh, no, he reverted to Islam, he repented, he offered repentance, and but it just looks like he was just an opportunist and he didn't want to die. So you either had the option of taking this chance or die. I would, if I were in his position, I'd take the opportunity. I don't want to die.
Yeah. Rather be a hypocrite and alive.
I'd rather be a hypocrite than alive. Life is precious.
But I think it tells you a lot about the whole situation with Islam and the historic, I don't know, the foundation, the way that it was. Come on, there is nothing. It doesn't really matter whether this is true or not. It shows you the sort of attitude of the people towards everything. That this is not this holy, war or fighting or struggle that you have for your God, that you strive to be a better person and all that. At the end of the day, if you look at this, these are just normal people doing what normal people do. That's it. So there's nothing there in my eyes. So anyway, we have Ibn al-Nawaya. No, Navaha. Okay, I've never heard of this one, I must admit. Ibn Kathir, Sunan Abu Dawood, record Muhammad once said about him, I would have cut off your head if it was not that emissaries are not killed. Okay, because he claimed... okay, now, this is interesting because now we get the first reference. Now, we're talking about Musaylima, and now he is the number one competition to Muhammad. Now, what we're going to see later, and I need to point, I don't know if I should spoil this. Okay, this is a bit of a spoiler because this Musaylima is the one who said, I am a prophet and I hold the keys to heaven. Now, Muhammad never claimed that, but Musaylima did. And this is something that is going to be very important later on when we look at the sources that are claimed or are said to show that Muhammad actually existed. And you will see this again. You will see this name Musaylima again. So he claimed he was a prophet. So Abdullah ibn Masud killed, even though when he was no longer an emissary. So this guy is killed. Then we have number 40, a nameless spy. Kill a man Muhammad suspected of being a spy. Kills the suspected spy, man from the Aslam tribe, unknown. Kill a man from stoned to death. Oh, okay, that's nice. Then Kinana, tortured to find location, hidden treasure of Banu Nadir.
Oh yeah.
This is now what you were referring to earlier, where they actually lit a fire on the chest to torture.
Yes, so to lit a fire so that he could reveal the location of the treasure. And it was
Exactly.
I think his wife that Muhammad took in as a wife for a concubine. So it was pretty brutal.
It says here, after being tortured with fire. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I remember this right, yeah. Okay, then we are at number 43. Muhammad sends Jarir ibn Abdullah to destroy the Kaaba of Yemen, which was the subject of idolatry. 100 men of Bahira and 200 of Banu were killed in order to destroy the idol of Dur Khalasa. So there you go. And this is the source. You can find this list on the Wiki Islamnet, Wiki, list of killings ordered or supported by Muhammad. So there's a lot of things here. These are all the different sources that you can see. So no secrets here, no nothing. This is the way that it is. So if somebody claims there was no resistance, there was nobody who opposed Muhammad, all the poets flocked to him. Everybody was so in awe of what the Quran was revealing and what it was saying when it was revealed. That's nonsense. It's total nonsense. We can see here we have, how many was this? 43 different people who resisted or were suspected of being resistant. They were in one way or the other persecuted, and most of them even killed. Some were spared after they converted or something, but this was resistance. So these are 43 examples of where people or groups opposed what Muhammad came up with. This is what we see, what the Islamic sources themselves say about the stories about Muhammad and what he came with when he came with the Quran.